Well,
What?
I know
Yeah,
quite a bit. Yes.
yeah.
And
I
I've known them mostly as the Washington Redskins over the years.
yeah.
The Commanders just it was initiated I think 2021. So I've known them mostly as the Redskins, and George Allen when he coached the team, they were known as the Redskins back then. And also, you ask most of the players today, they of course played for the team. The great players they played for the team when they were known as the Redskins, and even don't have to be great players, but any players for that matter.
Yeah.
They want to be remembered as Washington Redskins.
Yes, yes. And you mentioned that in the email, and don't let me forget that. You mentioned the logo that George Allen he had. What is the connection with him with the Washington Redskins logo? That is fascinating.
It is a fascinating story. So prior to the 1972 season, a prominent Native American named Walter Blackie Wetzel, he was chairman of Blackfeet Nation in
Okay.
Montana, but he also had a presence in Washington, D.C. He was president of the National Congress of American Indians for several years in the early to mid 60s. So he liked the Redskins. He followed them when he was in D.C.
Yeah.
And prior to the 72 season, he approached George Allen, who was the Redskins coach at the time, and he said, Coach, listen, I don't like the R on the Redskins helmets. That it was an R logo that Vince Lombardi had envisioned.
Yeah.
Vince Lombardi coached here in 1969. So he wanted something resembling what he had at Green Bay. He had the G in Green Bay. So that's how the R on the helmet came about. So the Redskins had that in the 70 and 71 seasons. So Walter Blackie Wetzel said, I don't like the R on the helmets. We need something more creative, something
Yeah.
depicting a proud Native American.
Yeah.
So Allen said, go back to your tribal officials, come up with some ideas and come back to me. Let me know what you have found out. So he came back with a composite of the Native American chief on the Buffalo nickel, which
Okay.
is the logo that existed on the Redskins helmet for almost a half century before it was retired in 2020. But Allen okayed that. When Wetzel came back with the idea, Allen okayed that, and that's how that logo was approved.
Wow. So I mean, that just goes to show you that there's a positive connotation behind Redskins
Well, I've tried to explain that to
for
over
30
the years
years.
since this controversy is first resurfaced about a decade ago,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
obviously led to the retirement of the name and the logo. But I've tried to explain that it was a Native American that was involved in the creation of the logo that
Yeah.
existed on the Redskins helmet for nearly a half century. I mean, and actually, that Native American Wetzel, he was quoted in the Washington Post in 2002 saying it's only a minority of Native Americans that oppose the name. Most Native Americans look at it as a matter, something to be proud of.
Yeah.
The fierce looking Indian chief on the
Yeah.
Redskins helmet, the Indian chief that was on the Buffalo nickel. I mean, that is something they were so proud of. And Wetzel said it was only a minority of Native Americans that opposed the name Redskins. I'm sure that the polls have shown that over the years too. There's been major polls, Associated Press, Washington Post, that have
Yeah.
basically concluded the same thing. 90% of Native Americans are not offended by it.